Hey, Ljubitza, welcome to B2B eCommerce show. How are you?
Hi, Brett. Very good. I'm very excited to be here with you in this interview.
That's good. And where are you joining us from today?
Right now, I'm in Promelsa in my office in Lima, Peru, so very far away from you.
That's good. I'm sort of used to doing all these different time zones now, so it's always a fun part of what I do. So, Ljubitza, I'm excited to be here with you. I've been meaning to set this up for a while. We're here to talk about your new role as the LATAM chapter lead, the Latin American chapter lead for the B2B e-commerce association, which I'm super pumped about, to be expanding our network more formally into the region. It's been a bit of a long time coming, so super cool. But before I get into that, I wanted to just unpack a little bit about you and your journey for people that don't know you, that might be watching this. So, yeah, Maddie, just tell us a little bit about how you got into B2B e-commerce.
Great. Well, I have a long journey I'll try to resume it. Right now, I'm the digital transformation manager at Promelsa. Promelsa is a big electrical distributor here in Lima, Peru, with 56 years in the market. And once I first started, like in this learning journey, I was the head of marketing. So as a head of marketing, I was eager to learn more about how to get immersed in all this digital world with digital tools. And one of the things that was like part of the strategy of Promelsa was to have an e-commerce. But it was something that was mentioned on the strategic plan, but nobody told me like how to do it or the way to have this rolling in the company. So I remember that when I tried to chase like different agencies, different people, like to tell me how can I build this from the ground up, there was no information. So very little information about like what is the B2B e-commerce about, like to whom I may tackle, like to the buying center, to the specialist that is the electrician, to the installer, to the middleman. There are a lot of people that are involved in a B2B buying purchase. So I was trying to understand like to whom I may address with this B2B e-commerce platform and what the marketing strategy or the digital marketing strategy would look like. And at that time, I remember it was during pandemic, COVID. So all of my work was very digital, and I got immersed with a lot of PDFs, ebooks, and a lot of reading I get from different organizations from the B2B world, especially in the US. So that's how I get to know like, oh, there is a world around there. There is a world in US. There is something going on already with big B2B companies like Granger, Graybar, Wesco. And I did my research on that companies like all virtually to understand like how they were like building their e-commerce, like to how was the sign in, the products that they showed, how they manage their attributes, all the look and feel, to whom they talk, how was the customer journey inside the website. And then I start to get interested with more and more information. I start to follow up all the leaders from these different companies, big distribution companies from the US. And I remember that then I get to PDF or an ebook that start promoting an event from the US, and they say I had to be in that event. I had to get to know all these leaders. I want to learn more about them, but in person. So yeah, that is how I start traveling to the US, and it's been like I don't know, like more than 5 years traveling very often, like two times a year, and I'm be very actively involved with the community 3 years from now as a speaker also. So yeah, very glad to have learned a lot about this community from the US.
That's great. And I think, yeah, what you're describing is kind of what makes I guess, starting a journey in this space quite difficult. Like, I guess you brought a lot of energy to, you know, to figuring this area out, right? But it takes a while, and I think one of the things we're trying to do here at the B2B Commerce Association, and with, your role in helping build the community in Latin American region, is to make it easier for people who are starting their journey, in this space, because there is so much to learn. There's so many people that, you need to connect with. How do you navigate the ecosystem of B2B digital transformation? And so, I talk about this a lot with people, I went on a similar kind of journey, and it's sort of always ongoing. But back when I first started in this space, and it took me a very long time to figure all this stuff out. That's something that I'm really passionate about. With associations, really passionate about is making this this easier for people to navigate B2B e-commerce and digital transformation, helping people find their way, connect with people, so they can take the right step depending on where they're at. So let me ask you, when did you kind of realize that, this is what you wanted to do, like that this is going to be your passion and your focus at Promelsa?
Let's say that I believe that for a distribution company to evolve, they need to transform their organization, like the way of doing things. So if I observe that companies from the US were already on B2B e-commerce and they were playing good, then I say like, this is the way, especially because we are from Latin America and we're like some years behind, and we can see like practically the future in the US, like what it already works. So the first time I travel and I get immersed in the community, there were a lot of things that were my pain points. The things that I said like, oh my God, this is the all my list of doubts, all the different questions that now I feel that I'm not solving by my own. I can start asking all these different stuff that comes into my head and nobody in my country can solve. And in that time, ChatGPT didn't exist. So if it already existed at that time, then I will explode with a lot of questions. But I really found a community that had a lot of answers. They helped me. They were already, some of them on the same road, or some of them were already looking for a re-platform. It was my first time in B2B, but for them it was like they were looking for a re-platform, so they consider like the same technologies that I was already aware from. They were considering like building their ecosystem as I was already considering it already. So there were like some kind of things or some things that I saw that the community had the answers for me. And then I say, okay, now I feel that I'm not like speaking by my own, or that I'm not wrong. Because every time that I travel back, then I say, I'm the only one that speaks this language. It's like
Yeah,
I
that's right.
feel by my own. I don't feel like I have something that people that go with me. But if I just talking about like people that are not from my team, I really felt alone like many years. My team followed me, but they need answer from me. And I was looking from answer from other leaders, others that manage or were taking the lead on big distribution companies. So yes, it was
Yes.
like very comforting looking at
Mm.
that community.
Yeah, because we talk about this a lot, that people leading digital often feel very lonely in their roles. They
Oh
feel
yeah.
isolated from the rest of the business. There's
Yes.
a disconnect. So, when we bring people into the association and they get to connect with other people that are in a similar boat to them, it is quite a cathartic experience for a lot of
Especially if
people.
you are a woman, because you already have a lot of challenges like leading or taking a lead on digital transformation, and yes, you feel that you're alone on that road. But if you are like a woman in this business that is like very male dominated, it's like very industrial, you're talking about electrical products, then I found that I have like a lot of female
Another
counterparts
layer
that
to
I
it.
can share, yeah, the same story. So
Yeah.
it's crazy. I feel so
Yeah.
related.
Oh, that's good. Well, yeah, your tenacity to drive forward is really impressive. And so you mentioned earlier the digital maturity of the Latin American region. Like, how would you describe the maturity for the local region in the Latin American market for B2B e-commerce from what you've seen?
I like that question because it relates what I'm starting to do with my role as chapter lead. I haven't told you that, but it's something that just it's an initiative I want to start like working hand by hand with you to start like with a digital maturity assessment, but like a very resume one. So I'm building like Google Forms to understand with different questions that I've just pulled on that form, I want to understand like the different dynamics about the digital transformation that is going on big distribution companies here in LATAM. So I'm starting to ask questions about like if they have e-commerce, or they are already considering, or they are already like looking to evolve their e-commerce. If they are like working on on any CRM, if they have considered like an omni-channel strategy, if they have like a PIM or not, a tool like for their products, like what's the state of how they manage their products, if their systems are already correlated or not, or integrated or not. How about like their analytics and their BI, like what they are reading? How about their marketing automation? Like different questions that this Google form has for letting me know like how is LATAM, how with data about their digital maturity advancement in different opportunities that I had, different travels or different reunions, or that I'm very active in this community. So I travel a lot. Last year I was in an event of Adobe Las Vegas, and I met a guy from a big company in Chile, and he told me about like what he was working with Adobe in B2B commerce, how was he working in automating his pricing strategy, how was he working like with all the digital tools that he already has. And it was like impressive. Like I've seen that guy was like very advanced in his digital journey. But on the other hand, like I also have those kind of conversations with other leaders, different countries, and they are looking for Promelsa, or like I like what the Promelsa is doing. I want to learn more about it from you. It's like I have very polarized situations. So with this form, I need to really like get to know deeper, like how is the digital maturity of these companies in Latam, so I'll be able to assess them correctly and to give them information correctly after reading all these analytics and
Yeah, that's
statistics.
amazing. I think it's really important, and it's a big focus for us globally in the association is better understand people's digital maturity assessment, assess digital maturity level. Because as you say, once we understand that, we can help point people in the right direction. We can provide a bit of guidance on where they should be focusing next. So there's so much value to be had from that. So I think it's a really great initiative to start to help people in the region and gather those insights, and sharing that back with people is super interesting too. So that's
It's a
really
starting
cool.
point, I believe. It's a
Yeah, it's a
starting
great
point. Like
yeah, it's a
after
great
that, and I
starting
said
point.
like they are looking like to answer more about like B2B commerce. They are looking to answer things that are related more onto the building their omni-channel strategy, where B2B commerce is a big player around this strategy. They're looking like to take on the lead on a company that is more traditional, and it's something that it's has to be there because it's a big enabler for the digital transformation, because B2B commerce is just like okay, something that needs to be sponsored like from the top of the management. So a lot of different things you get to know, like if you really have the basics of this maturity assessment, you need to know like the starting point where they are right now. So then after that,
Yeah.
and I said okay, this kind of content will be really helpful, or let's say let's bring this type of conversation onto the table, then it will be very valuable for the community. So yes, it lets me know like better my community.
That's really great. And for you, when we started to speak about the role of you being the chapter lead in for the B2B e-commerce association in the region, what excited you most about taking this on?
Well, plenty of things. One of them is like I had like the mission. It's something that is like a purpose of life to give information, like to tell to have some thoughts from all of this learning journey that I had. So one of my mission is like to drive on digital transformation of B2B, like in my community, in my region, in my space. So for me it was like long journey, as you said, like it took a lot of years. And as you said, like I'm very passionate and I have energy and I like all of these world, B2B world. But at the same time it's like it needs for you to have
It needs
like
to be
time.
elevated.
Okay. Yeah, it needs for you to have time. It needs for you to have like a budget for traveling. It needs you to be able to speak like the language fluently. It needs for you to have like some capabilities for networking. So not all the people have like the combination of all those things. So I believe that for me it was like, okay, if I have the budget, I'm able to speak fluently, I'm able to travel more than once in a year, and I already have my friends in this community, then for me it's like kind of easy, but for a lot of people it's not. So I want to bring that
Yes.
knowledge onto my community to be able like to, you know, like make that information easy for them, like as it was for me at the beginning, you know, it's like with different content, like with webinars, with ebooks, with podcasts, with different formats. I seen them all. I've seen all
Yeah.
those and the recordings of that also. And I also have like a tablet with like 150 PDFs of everything related to B2B e-commerce, and all of them are very classified. And I'm able like to like translate that information and to share with my community and with people that are like eager to learn. So for me, like taking on the lead of this role, it was like to share information, to teach them, and to leave my footprint with everything I know around this theme about B2B in the digital world, or digital transformation in B2B. So to help people like advance in their career, because they are not alone. We are every time more people like joining. So, yep.
Amazing. And I think, yeah, I was so happy that that you were excited by it, because I think, you're definitely one of the, best content creators in our industry as well around B2B e-commerce. And it's not easy to do that stuff, and trying to, translate this kind of complex world of B2B digital, into a consumable format for people
Exactly.
is pretty difficult. So, so with that, you know, one of the things we're really excited about with sharing that, creating this forum and these insights and this information, is that, we're looking for people to participate in these discussions. So, do you want to give people a little bit of insight about how you're going to go about that? People that you might be looking for to participate in the Latin American, I guess, call it media channel of the B2B e-commerce association?
Yeah, definitely. There are different ideas that I have. It comes like from first, like trying to have the voice of practitioners. And when I say practitioners, I mean like the distributors and the manufacturers. So I have different conversations already with these people, because they already in my network, they already know my role. They follow me on LinkedIn, so they know what I do, and they are like also willing to show what they are doing, and also like learning on this way, because we never stop learning. So I already talked with different manufacturers from this, especially electrical world, and different distributors from different industries related like to B2B, like the electrical, the construction, the industrial, you know, like it's diverse. But I already have different people around LATAM, Colombia, Chile, Argentina, Mexico, Peru, that are already on this community, and we are like talking like every week about different ideas. We are already having this conversation. So at first, I'm planning to have these or webinars or podcasts, like kind of this kind of conversation I'm having with you, around different themes that are related on to the B2B on digital. But previous on that, I had to have like a conversation to see like, okay, their expertise or the things that are doing are more like concentrated on this thing, because like it could be very broad. But I want to tackle on different themes, because I know that different manufacturers and distributors have their own expertise. I was talking about like this guy that I get to know in Chile in an event from Adobe. So his expertise was on B2B commerce, but at the same time, how he managed the automation in pricing. So it was like impressive what he told me in person. I want to share that information and all his knowledge with this community in Latam. This on one hand. On the other hand, I have a lot of different agencies, friends from agencies, digital consultants and like different solution providers that have a lot of knowledge, and they also want to talk about these different things, but this would be like short formats, like for example a 8 to 10 minute format, something that very casual, not in a special platform. But I've because I became a content creator, then I'm with also my DJI Osmo Pocket everywhere. So every time I go wherever, I'm carrying this little camera that records so good. And then in a casual conversation in a coffee restaurant, then I can have this kind of short conversation with 5 questions, straightforward, very relaxed, in a setting that both of us feel comfortable to talk about, without like business suits, without like something that is already a review. It's like to talk about what they know. So
Yes.
yes, a short format with them. And then I have some ideas about like writing blogs in collaboration with the B2B commerce on their webpage, just to address, and to tackle onto the LATAM needs. And yeah, I mean, like
That's
everything is around content. So
Yeah, that's great. I think the message as well to people is that, and this is globally too, is that if you want to talk about a particular problem in the industry or an area where you think you have deep expertise, I think that's really great content as well. Just to come on, like you said, talk about maybe how you solved a really complex pricing problem in your industry, or maybe talk about a change management strategy that you've deployed that's worked really well. It doesn't need to be an hour long, right? That, like you're saying, could be just an 8-10 minute discussion about, what the problem that you had and how you solved it. I think that's really, really interesting. So I think it's going to be a really amazing to have you leading this on the content front. So if people want to be part of this, reach out to Ljubitza. Of course, you can reach out to me anytime, and I will get you connected with her. So whether you're a practitioner, or you're an agency or a solution provider consultant, and you've got something interesting you want to share, or a story that you want to tell, reach out to us, because we're full steam ahead now on growing the Latin American community for the B2B e-commerce association. And finally, before we wrap up, one of the questions we always get at the B2B e-commerce association, any region, is what's happening with events. And you and I will start to talk about what that might look like. Not for 2026. It's going to be pretty difficult with everything we have happening with B2B e-commerce world across the regions, but we're starting to look at maybe 2027 and how that could shape up. What do you think? What would it mean for the region to have a conference where everyone could get together and connect with each other?
well, I believe it will be very meaningful, because, as I mentioned at one of my questions, or the first question, for me, it was like a learning journey. Then, when I get to learn within, like, after webinars, content, PDFs, and everything, then I say, oh my God, an event. So I can like land this, like all the information that I already know. Like, I want to get to know the information firsthand. I want to get to know the information from the people that are already talking about all this digital B2B stuff. So I believe that at first, if we start doing like all these different content with different content formats, then the community will start like building up. And I believe that we will be already set up with everything that we need, like to organize something for 2027. So yeah, you got
Yeah.
me in. I'm already
Yeah.
committed to that.
Yeah, it's I think you're exactly right. So we'd love everyone to get involved, come down, whether get involved in content, or you just want to sit back and watch on and take the insights in and apply it where in your business, wherever that might be. But everyone is welcome, and we're really looking forward to getting this rolling. Ljubitza, you've been amazing. You bring so much energy to this role already. So many ideas, but you not only have ideas, you're executing, which is the most amazing thing. So thanks again, and looking forward to bringing more and more people in from the Latin American region. Thank you.
Thank you.